Winning has a price. And leadership has a price. So I pull people along when they didn't want to be pulled. I challenge people when they don't want to be challenged.
I can't even think about all of the shit I did to fit in. Past hard to watch like a fucking scary movie. I'm always happy to meet somebody that never knew me. Change for the better, hope niggas are living through me. I put it all on the wax so the people can know the true me. Hard to remain sane when the people you love the most is what's causing the damn pain. Y'all beef by the same thing, we ain't playing the same game. It's all for my family. She the girl of your fucking dreams, but to me she a plain Jane. You dipper and ball man, I duck when them calls came. This that higher level thinking. I'm the type to jump the fuck off for the shit before it's sinking. Not here for no new shit. My game slider boost it. Ain't I don't have to prove shit. Rockstar fight the fool shit. My movie, this the new script. I want a life with no bullshit. Nigga, I know on these news clips. That's why I dap him and move quick. Won't be around when they move switch. Won't be around when they lose clips. Won't be around for they lose lips. Might be the reason they pull shit. Yeah.
Conversation number one with Lamar Jackson is like, we got to get an extension done. By the way, 1A is we're going to take some of this other money and go get a receiver.
Oh, so here you go.
Absolutely. It's an allocation.
And you know what Lamar Jackson's going to say? He's going to say, okay, cut Marcus Peters and take his money and go get me a number one receiver because you've been spending all your equity and all your money on the defensive side of the ball. I'm the best player. Support me, not going out and getting Marcus Peters, Marcus Williams, and going out and getting all-star teams on defense. We need to score points, and you got to go out and get me a number one receiver. So cut that dude.
Yeah.
Happy New Year to everybody out there. Hey, new year, new me. Same me, though. Shout out LaMelo Ball. Yo, week 17 in the NFL. This video. Look, first off, before we even get into that, appreciate anybody for clicking on the video, viewing the video, subscribing, liking, turning on notifications. I appreciate all that. Commenting. Appreciate all of it. Sharing. All of it. I appreciate you. I really do. Week 17 in the NFL. Not finna talk about all these damn games yet. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 fucking games. And we're going to get to that. But I'm talking about 2 games specifically in this video. So, we want to start off by I'm not going to run through all the scores in this video either. I might change my mind on that by the end of the video. Who knows? But I want to talk about 2 teams specifically, 2 games. The Baltimore Ravens and the Green Bay Packers. Okay? And we're going to start off with the Baltimore Ravens because I am a Baltimore Raven fan. I've been a Baltimore Raven fan my whole life. I'm sick of this fucking team. I'm not changing my team or nothing like that. I'm sick of this team the last 3. I'm sick of this team since they got Lamar Jackson after his MVP season. Okay? Because once you get a quarterback that wins unanimous MVP, everything in your organization should be going all in for that player. Not going all out to get pay all these expensive defensive players who don't get stops when you're supposed to. Not going all out to pay defensive players who ain't even pass rushers. It's a lot of problems with the Baltimore Ravens that Lamar Jackson continue to cover up. He is the ultimate Band-Aid. And that is a problem. You see, I just watched this Ravens-Steelers game. I watched the whole thing. I pretty much knew what was going to happen towards the end of this game based off of how this game was playing out down the stretch. The Ravens offense in the second half scored no points. J.K. Dobbins had a good game. Ravens offense scored no points in the second half. After getting the ball back, they had good field position twice in the fourth quarter. So it's not even an excuse. But they could not score in the second half, which is a problem with the Ravens. And I understand people who seemingly got something against Lamar continue to break down a situation like this. They'll say shit like, well, the Ravens couldn't score when they had Lamar Jackson. That's an interesting thing to me because, you know, I see so many other quarterbacks get these excuses for why they can't do what they're supposed to be doing. Whereas you got Lamar Jackson who got this sorry ass Raven team in the playoffs. And somehow this dude gets nobody care to come to his defense. But I'm so happy that he's not playing right now. And I pray Lamar Jackson, and I've been thinking this, but I'm about to say it. I hope he don't come back this season. I don't care if the media start using that against him. Who cares? It is no reason Lamar Jackson should come back and play for this fucking team this year, especially with a knee injury. Why would he risk, not even why should he risk his long-term health for a team that has continuously showed him They are not going to build around him, which is why I get so irritated. I love Chris Collinsworth. Mike Tirico, great announced it. Chris Collinsworth saying, what will the Ravens do if they got to switch up the whole offense around Lamar if he leave? What are you talking about? This offense ain't built around Lamar. They don't have Let me ask you something. At what point in time do you build a team? You get you a franchise quarterback, a definitive franchise quarterback, and you say to yourself, okay, I'm done building around him. I'm not going to get him no real receiving threats, but I'm going to get him a tight end, like a whole bunch of tight ends, a whole bunch of running backs. What? And keep building up the defense that continuously for like, I told y'all, people act surprised about how bad the Ravens been playing on defense. I told you a couple things. For one, they've played this bad defensively since they lost that game to Buffalo in the playoffs a couple years ago. Two, the Ravens breaking down on defense in the fourth quarter is not new. I've been watching them motherfuckers do that my whole life at this point, it feel like. And then the next thing about this defense, my guy, you spend so much money on these dudes. Marcus Williams, Marlon Humphreys, Marcus Peters. You pay so much money to different players on this team for this defense to be absolute mid. It's not even mid. It's below that. I said last week, I'm not hyping up this Ravens team. They've beaten teams that are not. I don't think the Ravens got a win against a team this year that's over 500. Since like week. Matter of fact, they don't have a win against a team that's over 500. Their win against the Bengals were not over 500 at the time. So the Ravens don't have a win, I think, this year. I got to go back and check that because if they do, it was in weeks 1 through 3. Other than that, the Ravens have not beaten a good team this year. And they lose to teams they should beat. How many times you going to see the Ravens lead in a team and then blow it at the end in the fourth quarter? Just completely start bullshitting in the fourth quarter. I don't know. And I done had multiple Ravens videos talking about it. I guess we're just going to have to keep doing it. So you get the Ravens tonight. You get J.K. Dobbins. He have a good game. And I'll get to the Steelers side of the ball in a minute. You get J.K. Dobbins having a good game. And thank God he healthy and he back. Don't care about how healthy and back he is, however. Because my problem is now J.K. Dobbins play good. So now the whole offense is based around J.K. or bust. Just like it was built around Lamar or bust. That is a problem. You have an offensive coordinator in Greg Roman who does not know how to utilize receivers. I'm not saying the Ravens have a good receiver. I don't believe the Ravens have a single receiver on their roster who would start for another team at the 1 or 2 spot for a receiver. I think the Ravens got nothing but a bunch of third string receivers. Deshaun Jackson is not the same Deshaun Jackson. As a matter of fact, I'm getting tired on a weekly basis hearing whoever is calling the game say, watch out for Deshaun Jackson. Watch out, he could get burnt. He not. Because that ain't what this offense do. Greg Roman, who I tried to be, I've been very critical of Greg Roman over the last couple years. And I tried to be nice to him this year. You know what I'm saying? Listen, you can be anything in the world. Choose to be kind. I'm with that. So I've been trying my hardest not to be disrespectful, not to be too, hostile when I speak. But this Greg Roman shit is ridiculous. And I've never seen a team. Well, I have. I see multiple bad teams stay committed to bad coaches, bad players, and continue to tank their franchise and not give a damn because the owner making billions off of the team. That is literally what's going on with Baltimore right now. You cannot look at this team and continue to say they built around Lamar Jackson. It's no weapons on this team not named Mark Andrews. I saw somebody tweet tonight. The Ravens receivers are absolute fucking garbage. All you got to do is double mark, and that is it. They have nobody on outside who can beat them. Yeah, and stack the box. The worst part to me about tonight, well, it's a lot of bad things. I'm not even going to categorize this as the worst thing. Just one of the many things that irritate me when I'm watching the Ravens. Because I already knew coming into this game they couldn't score. Once we hit the 13, I was like, yeah, we probably won't score again unless we get 3 points here and there. To my surprise, well, not to my surprise at all, they didn't score again in the second half. Which is, like I said, not shocking because this offense, like I said, people keep saying, oh, they wasn't good with Lamar. This is why I know some motherfuckers just either don't know what they watching or just choose not to like Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson was carrying this sorry-ass offense. And if you watch the Ravens on a weekly basis, that was not hard to see. Every single year Lamar Jackson has been a starter in the NFL. He has, since his first full year, he has been an MVP candidate throughout the season. Who on the fucking Ravens offense could you say is why Lamar Jackson is an MVP? Because I see people give credit to Diggs, Chase, all these other great receivers. What's the receiver on the Lamar's team that got him playing better? Because I'm curious. Kenny Pickett just had a decent game. I thought he played better than his stats show. His stats not going to tell you he had a great game, but I think Kenny Pickett played a very good game. Short pass, and I knew could beat the Ravens because the Ravens don't defend the short passes. It's a thing that, matter of fact, I'll get to that in a second. But back to this situation with the Ravens. This team, tonight, played not to lose, not to win, which is what they do on a weekly basis. They play not to lose. They play not to lose rather than playing to win. And that's a problem. Now, granted, I don't even think that's like what they continuously want to do. I just don't think they can do anything else because Tyler Huntley's not a good quarterback. Everybody always hurt. The Ravens love picking up dumbass penalties that hurt their team. See, a lot of teams in the NFL can pick up bad penalties on offense and can still survive them. Not the Ravens. Because you see, this is one of the things I was talking about earlier in the season when Lamar was starting. So many times Lamar will make a big play and it'll get called right back because holding, illegal block in the back, illegal shift on the offense is always something that would take away a big play by Lamar Jackson. There is no big plays happening now without Lamar Jackson. No electric plays, no big plays. If JK can't score from far, he can break open and then he get caught all the time because he's still hurt right now. He ain't at 100%. So that's very bothering to constantly see him. Like Tony Pollard is taking some of these runs to the crib. And that's the first running back I thought of. J.K. Dobbins is a good back. He'll probably be even better when he get healthy. But right now he can't finish runs. That's a problem. Because when you got a running back who is good as J.K. but he can't finish runs when he get good runs, then you put it in Tyler Huntley's hand, in this offense hand, and they just don't come through. When they call plays in the red zone, what are we calling? Like, I don't understand some of these play calls. And this is another big problem. I watched Jarrett Stidham go crazy today. I watched, what's my man's name? Brock Purdy go crazy over the last couple weeks. Well, not really go crazy, but play great the last couple weeks. I done seen multiple. I saw Dallas's backup be able to come in and get decent football. How come everybody keep telling me Tyler Huntley is one of the best backups in the league? Because he is not. The motherfucker got 7 touchdowns on the season, 6 interceptions, and just that small sample size. If he played a full season, matter of fact, he got 8 interceptions on the season now, I believe. If Tyler Huntley played a full season, he would probably be leading the league with interceptions. Not to mention, when I look at the Ravens defense under Tyler Huntley, it's as bad as the offense in Chicago. Chicago, one of the worst offenses I look at on a weekly basis. The Ravens probably worse than them. Because at least Justin Fields, who I do not think is an NFL caliber quarterback, at least that motherfucker can run. Tyler Huntley is not a good running quarterback. And side note, Tyler Huntley's nickname is Snoop. He got I never wondered why he got that nickname, but they told us why tonight. And it's because one of his coaches, when he was in Little League, I guess, thought he looked like Snoop Dogg. Tyler Huntley don't look shit like Snoop Dogg. So I can only imagine that his coach who called him Snoop was a white dude. Because what the fuck? That don't even make sense. I was finna say something. That motherfucker don't look nothing like Snoop Dogg. But that's neither here nor there. Back to the game. You got a Ravens team, offensively, that the backup don't do what these other backups do. And I don't even just blame Tyler Huntley for that. Because I'm looking at multiple backups be able to come in, have good game plans set around them, and they succeed within the game plan that is called for them. What is the game plan being called for Tyler Huntley? I don't see them trying to draw up. And one of my biggest problems when I'm looking at this Tyler Huntley shit, one of the things that you do for young quarterbacks or backups is you try to, get them easy passes and shit like that to build their confidence up. Bro, all Tyler Huntley throw is short passes when he throw the ball. So it's no building up confidence from a dude who only throws short. And when he throw it long, it's hella inaccurate. Or you got to be wide the fuck open. I see a lot of problems in Tyler Huntley that I see in Justin Fields. The difference is Justin Fields is supposed to be a starting quarterback. Tyler Huntley is not. Justin Fields, do not throw receivers open. Do not throw tight window throws. Only throwing it to a receiver if they wide the fuck open. I said earlier in the year, most of his touchdown throws and his big throws, dudes is running wide the fuck open, which is something that happened when the quarterback run as much as Justin Fields do. The defense start to sell out for the run. Why do the defense for the Steelers play the way they played tonight, and the Ravens still chose not to try to attack these dudes over the top? With how good they ran the ball, the decision to just simply not try to throw the ball over the top and shit until they have to throw the ball. I'm just very confused as to how Eric DeCosta, Bisciotti, and these dudes sit back here, watch this product that's put on the field on a weekly basis, and think to themselves, this is competent football. It's wild to me. Let me just talk about the team that Eric DeCosta done put in front of Raven fans. And why Raven fans should stop bullshitting and taking up for these motherfuckers and just be honest. Because last year Raven fans wanted DeCosta fired. What's my man's name? Wanted Greg Roman fired. The Raven fans wanted him fired for 2 years. The Ravens front office should have fired him at the end of last year. And I am not somebody who want to petition to have dudes fired and losing their jobs. I'm not that type of person. However, if you can't see that Greg Roman should not still be the offensive coordinator for this team, then I don't know what's going on. So you got these other backups. So back to the backups for a quick second, because I just want to break down what Eric DeCosta done put in front of motherfuckers and why the Raven fans keep defending this shit. You got a defense. You spent all that money on them secondary players because, we need a great secondary because it's a throwing league. And you neglect pass rushes. Matter of fact, let's just be honest. The Ravens continue to be cheap when it comes to pass. You don't pay Justin Houston really anything because of his age. You don't pay Odafe Owe anything because he's a rookie. You don't pay Justin Meebank nothing really because he's a run stopper, not a pass rusher. Calais Campbell getting paid really not much either because of his age and where he at in his career, and he ain't been a pass rusher for the last couple years. Matter of fact, Calais Campbell really ain't been a pass rusher since he left Arizona. But that's what the Ravens spent money on. That's who they put around that's who they paid on this defense. You need a pass rush to pass rush quarterbacks in the fourth quarter. Go look at the game. Kenny Pickett, I think he was sacked probably once or twice. One of the sacks he ran into. He ran clean into one of the sacks. That's just, he got to have better pocket presence. But look at how often Kenny Pickett was able to just sit back in the pocket and make throws. Because the Ravens do not have a pass rush. They don't have a legit. Look at TJ Watt, bro. TJ Watt, Nick Bosa, Myles Garrett. Dudes who just completely change an offense because of how great they are at rushing the passer. Not only that, when you take a 10-point lead, that's the type of players you want on the edge. But Baltimore don't want to pay nobody. And it'll be easy to say, Baltimore never had. They had Jadeveon. I don't know why I can't get my man's name right. They had Red Sleeves, my boy, Matthew Judon. They chose to let him walk. The worst part of letting Matt Judon walk is because you were supposed to pay him with the money that you didn't pay Zadarius Smith. Two phenomenal pass rushers who should still be in Baltimore, because who are they paying that they couldn't have paid them to? Because Lamar Jackson ain't got his contract yet. They don't pay no receiver top money. They ain't paying a running back top money. They're not paying nobody on the line top money except for Ronnie Staley, who coincidentally had missed 2 years of play. So you tell me the good decision making with the Ravens. And don't hit me with that, just bad luck. Bad luck come to teams 1 year. It happened 2, 3, 4 years. That's not bad luck. That's bad planning. That's not bad luck. That's bad team organization. That's not bad luck. That's bad team building. That's not bad luck. That's just bad management of your team. Last year, Lamar Jackson clearly needed receivers because he was doing too much. He had to be Superman on a weekly basis to compete with all these other offenses in the league. Do you know that Lamar Jackson was averaging close to 30 points a game coming into this season? Do you know how effective that is now? And do you realize Lamar ain't never had no top receiver? For a quarterback to every stat tell you that Lamar Jackson is a franchise quarterback who's been carrying his team. What the media will tell you is that Lamar Jackson is not the reason this team is so good, or Lamar Jackson is why this team can't get to where they need to go. When in actuality, when you just look at this Ravens, that's why I'm so happy Lamar is not playing right now, because you could just look at this team without Lamar Jackson and see what they are. The Eagles team still compete without Jalen Hurts, even though to me it should be very clear he was the MVP of this season, because what they've done without him compared to what they was doing with him is night and day. To me, it's no way that Jalen Hurts shouldn't win MVP, but he won't, which is wild to me. But when you look at the Ravens offense, or just look at the team without Lamar Jackson. See, people have been giving them praise for these barely winning games and shit the last couple weeks because they playing against bad teams. Not me. Like I said, I look at the schedule. Nothing but a bunch of bad teams on the schedule that we've been beating and barely beating them. But somehow, people continue to praise this Ravens team. It's interesting. I would never advocate for John Harbaugh to be fired. John Harbaugh is an unbelievable head coach. If John Harbaugh don't get an offensive coordinator, I wouldn't understand John Harbaugh's purpose as the head coach of Lamar Jackson no more. Because either you go get an offensive coordinator or you hire a head coach who can call the plays. Because when I look at all these other teams who can still run a good offense with backup quarterbacks in it, that's a problem for me. Because even though I don't think Tyler Huntley is a starting quarterback, and I don't think Tyler Huntley really that good, it's an offense that can be put around him to win games against bad teams. If the Ravens are as good as people keep trying to say they are. But you see, because I done watched every single Ravens game for the past, decade probably, I'm not stupid in what I see. I don't need to watch ESPN or listen to Fox, FS1, hear them talk about the Ravens to know what I'm watching. I see what I'm watching. The Ravens are not a good team. They're a team that's been carried by Lamar Jackson for the last couple years, which is why last year, if this was a good team, Lamar Jackson had them at 8 wins. They couldn't finish it off last year. Lost down the stretch to get knocked out of the playoffs. Lamar Jackson left them with enough wins this year. Happy they didn't blow it. Really doesn't matter, because this is just not a good team. A fan that isn't a Raven fan couldn't tell me not one receiver on the Ravens except for Mark Andrews, who is not a wide receiver. Yet and still, I keep seeing people blame Lamar for everything that happened and praise the front office. Let's take a look at what the front office done did once again. So, they chose not to go out and get receivers in the offseason, even though receiving was a problem last year. It's a problem again this year. It's been a problem for the last decade. But the Ravens don't think that that's something they need to do. See, one of the things that irritate me is when everybody's like, oh, the Ravens juke when everybody else do this, so they go left and everybody else go right. Yeah, and that's exactly why they continue to lose. And that's exactly why they ain't winning no Super Bowl. And that's exactly why Lamar Jackson should leave this fucking team. Because when you have a team that is looking at this product that they putting on the field on a weekly basis and continue to take moral victories with everything they do, which is why they have not made a change. Because that's the only thing I can imagine. You're taking moral victories out of everything. Oh, well, we almost did this. So, hey, if we could have done that. Or, if we had this dude. And so that's keeping them from making real winning moves in the offseason. Matter of fact, here another winning move that people don't want to talk about that they should have done. Jadeveon Clowney was a free agent the last 2 years. Baltimore did not go all out to go get him. Jadeveon Clowney is better than every motherfucker on that line we have right now because he can actually disrupt games. It's nobody on our defensive line, not named Justin Houston when he was in his prime. I'm not saying he a disruptor now. Who can, and most of his sacks coming from the secondary. But listen, I'm not here to shit on Justin Houston. I like Justin Houston. What a career. But Justin Houston ain't enough. And the Ravens continuously banking on older players that's closer to the end of their career than they are the beginning is a problem. But nobody see it that way for some reason. Let's say the Chiefs, instead of getting Tyreek Hill, let's say the Chiefs went out and got Pat Mahomes, the same core that Lamar got right now, with just Travis Kelce. Because I understand what the Chiefs look like this year. And I think the Chiefs should have paid Tyreek, but they didn't. I think they fell into that thing of we got Pat Mahomes, so we don't necessarily need Tyreek. I think that's an ignorant way of thinking, because I think when you think like that, you don't realize the difference that a receiver like Tyreek Hill is. As good as Pat Mahomes done played this year, I promise you he would not tell you right now, yeah, I don't think I needed Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill make the game so much easier because of how great he is. The game changer that he is. That just make the game way easier. And it's no different from Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson wins. That's why I don't understand why people try to use this thing like, oh, he ain't got no receivers. But he's still winning without the receivers. That's the point. So imagine what he would do if he had one. But he doesn't. Because Baltimore does not think it's necessary to go out and pay a top receiver. Cannot understand that. And then let's talk about, once again, this sorry-ass defense that they keep employing. That every week, on the dot, as soon as that fourth quarter hit, they forget how to play football. They forget how to tackle. They forget how to cut. I don't know if any of the throws Kenny Pickett completed tonight, aside from like 3 of them, 3 great throws. Other than those 3 big throws, I'm pretty sure every single one of Kenny Pickett's completions was wide open receivers. And then you got this thing where Baltimore's defense, they'll have a 3rd and long, which at this point I'm just accustomed to Baltimore giving up 3rd and longs. It's just what they do. They do it all the time. Why would you move everybody back to the sticks instead of just trusting your defense? See, Baltimore do this shit all the time, where instead of just, you know what, this is exactly why I don't fucking like Mike McDaniels as the defensive coordinator. He might be a good dude. He is not a good defensive coordinator for this team. Why is he not a good defensive coordinator, Saint? Look at his stats that they done had the last couple, and look at the fucking teams he been playing. And he could have lost every single one. Every single game we won, we could have lost against them bad teams the last couple weeks. Because the defensive game plan makes no sense. You see, what the Ravens do is play against bad offenses. And when you play against bad offenses and you got a bad offense, it can become a defensive game. Here's the problem. The Ravens supposed to be a good team. So they're supposed to figure out ways to, win these games if they are a good team. And I'm not saying a good team with Lamar. I'm saying this is supposed to be a good team. People keep telling me this is a good team. That means even without Lamar, this team should be able to compete and win. But they don't. And much like the Bengals, in my opinion, the Bengals ain't dominating teams, which is why I don't understand the overhype right now. The Bengals have teams making stupid-ass mistakes beating themselves, and the Bengals capitalize on it. That's what the Ravens did them couple wins, because the Ravens could have lost both of them, should have lost both of them. You got an offense that's as incompetent as the Ravens offense, and you don't think to... Now, I'm not saying fire Greg Roman mid-season. I'm not saying that. There's only 2 fucking games left. There's only 1 game left, and then you got the playoffs. So that'd just be absolutely asinine to fire this motherfucker before the playoffs start. But he shouldn't have been here to start the season. See, decisions that the Ravens continue to make show me that they not only do they not give a fuck about winning, it show me that they don't give a fuck about a lot of these players' careers. You already wasting Lamar Jackson, and I'm up to I done had it with that. I want Lamar to leave. I do not want him in Baltimore. But now you wasting other players' careers because of how you playing this, how you calling the game, bruh. You up 13-3. You score before the end of the half. You get the ball back in the second half to start the half. You can go up by 14 points. Why not put your foot on their throat right now and try to score? But that's not what the Ravens do. They play it safe. We don't want to turn the ball over. We ain't got Lamar, so we just going to play it safe. Proving this is not a good team. It's not a good team. But it's damn sure not a good offense. Because if your offense become, I said something the other day. I said I look at Justin Fields and I get irritated when people be like, they'll pick a highlight and be like, oh, but I thought he couldn't throw. Bro, when we say somebody can't throw, that don't mean we don't think they can throw a football. That mean they are not NFL quarterback competent. That's what we say when we say they can't throw. That's what that means. Not that the motherfucker can't throw a football. I'm sure he can throw a football. Every quarterback who ain't got no pressure who throwing it at pro day can throw a football. We're talking about a quarterback who can throw within the structure of an offense or even outside of the structure of an offense and lead his team down the field here. Justin Fields can only run the ball. I feel no different when I look at Tyler Huntley. I feel no different when I look at this offense. I looked at the Bears offense last year, and it looked like a team that just did not know what to call. And then it became a game plan of, okay, we're going to call this to react to that rather than we just have an offense to run. That's the Ravens. The Ravens do not run an offense. They run plays. And what make it worse is somehow the Ravens the top brass don't see that. Like, I don't know if Greg Roman got like some secret files on these motherfuckers or something, or if they just love this dude so much that they just don't want to fire him. That is incompetence from top to bottom. That you like somebody so much, you choose not to make your team better. You have a unanimous MVP playing quarterback. Only 2 of them motherfuckers exist. And week after week after week, this motherfucker got to take the blame. Obviously not now because he hurt. But week after week, he got to take the blame for things that the Ravens haven't done for him. Lamar Jackson can go into a contract talk right now, and the Ravens could be like, well, you got hurt the last 2 seasons. And he could look right at them. For one, if they said that, he should just end the conversation right there and say, go ahead and play the franchise tag game because I'm not coming back. Because I'm not re-signing here. Just go ahead and play the franchise tag. I'll bet on myself. I keep taking out insurances to help cover my health and shit like that. But I'm not going to be here. If that's where the conversation go. But if he don't choose to say that, what he should look across him and say, who the fuck have y'all gotten me so I don't have to do everything and get hurt? Because my 2 injuries came when I was in the pocket, both of which, matter of fact, let's even talk about the concussion he suffered in the Bills game. I have a center throwing the ball over my fucking head. I got an offensive line who wasn't blocking for me. This is the best offensive line he done had since his MVP season. And they not even that great aside from running the ball, which they just started to be able to do. People keep talking about, the Ravens are a great run team. The Ravens running backs just started running the ball good like 3 weeks ago. Lamar Jackson was the run game and the pass game. But that's not a problem somehow. The Ravens I remember when I watched the Cowboys run DeMarcus, D'Amico, they had that running back who they ran into the ground. He left. I think he went to the Eagles, and he was never the same because they had ran him to the ground while he was in Dallas because they knew they wasn't gonna pay him. So they was like, I'm running this motherfucker into the ground. And at the time, players wasn't, I don't want to say they wasn't smart, but they wasn't business smart enough to realize, bro, I need to say no to some of this shit because they trying to they are using me up because they're not going to pay me. I need to be able to know that I'm healthy enough to be paid somewhere else. But players don't think like that. They think for the team and shit like that. But when you look at the Ravens, that's all they doing. They using Lamar Jackson up and ain't pay. This is why I had such a problem with them coming into the season with them not paying him. Because I don't give a fuck how great Lamar played this season. The fact of the matter is, why in the fuck would he ever have to come into a season with the Ravens and not have his contract shit figured out when he is this team? People can say, they built the team around him. They didn't build shit around him. He just is this team. That's why y'all keep confusing this with, they built the team around. They didn't build shit around him. He is just that great. Where it feel like they built around him because he can't really hit receivers constantly because he ain't got no receiver. What other receiving core in the league get less separation, drop more passes, are as bad at route running as the receiving core for the Ravens? Because people keep telling me Justin Fields ain't got weapons. And I don't agree with that. I think Justin Fields is not a good quarterback. This is not... I didn't believe... And, I'm starting to think I didn't think Daniel Jones didn't have weapons either, but that's a different conversation. I'm starting to really believe to myself. I'm starting to think like... And I ain't trying to take no shots at Huntley. But, bro, Huntley is not better than a lot of backup quarterbacks in the NFL. And that's who the Ravens keep trotting out there on a weekly basis. I told you, I'm not playing when I say I do not enjoy watching Tyler Huntley play. That is all the way back from last year. Because I can watch an NFL game and understand what I'm watching. I don't just watch these games like a regular stupid-ass fan who don't understand what's going on. No disrespect to fans, but a lot of y'all is morons who don't really understand the game of football. You just understand the big things like scoring points, interceptions, fumbles. That's all you really understand. You don't really understand the true intricacies and like of football and what's happening and how this is affecting that, and if this, you know what I'm saying? I like to think that I see that. And matter of fact, I'm not gonna back off of it because of my Green Bay Packers talk this entire season. Literally, the Packers win when they do exactly what I've been saying they should be doing all year. And I got a lot of other great takes, but one of my best takes is definitely this Ravens take, because this is a team that so very clearly, not only have they not done enough, they've done nothing for Lamar, but this is a team that's wasted money on parts that ain't even winning for them, that don't even come up clutch for them. Roquan Smith is a great addition. I agree with that. I'm not going to shit on Roquan Smith addition. Why would you go out and trade for Roquan when you need, because you do need a middle linebacker. I said that in the offseason. You needed a middle linebacker because Patrick Queen was a bust of a draft pick. He is not a middle linebacker. And this is what's funny to me. People keep talking about how great Patrick Queen playing the last couple. I don't think Patrick Queen been playing great. I think he's just been playing good football. And I don't even think it's been good the last 2 weeks. But he get a lot of credit for the shit that Roquan Smith caused. However, when you draft Patrick Queen at the spot you draft him in, you expect for him to be your franchise middle linebacker. He is not a franchise middle linebacker. Patrick Queen is a better pass rusher than he is a middle linebacker. I'm almost certain if you moved Odafe to the bench, because that's just what it's got to be now. I don't give a fuck how many pressure. And that's another thing. This is what I'm saying. A lot of teams in the draft, they ain't just making dumbass picks hoping dudes turn into something. The Ravens draft. Who have they hit in the draft that's been killing for them other than Lamar and Andrews? Who in the draft did they draft? And I guess you could throw Stanley in there. And Linderbaum this year, which Linderbaum had a rough game. He didn't really have a rough game. They was calling calls on him that I didn't really think was calls, but nonetheless, he don't really get called like that. I'm not shitting on Linderbaum. I like Linderbaum. And it was about time they got Lamar Jackson the center after watching two centers for 2 years straight just be bullshit. But when you look at those two dudes, who else in this draft did they hit on offensively? J.K. Dobbins, yeah, he good. Was hurt last year, was hurt a lot this year. Really didn't do nothing for Lamar Jackson. But sure, J.K. I've never seen a team this addicted to drafting running backs also. Because most teams ain't drafting no running back in the first round no more unless it's top running back. Even then, I don't think top running backs getting drafted like that no more. And look what the Ravens consistently do. It's just so many things. Like this game tonight was not just this game tonight. This game the Ravens lost tonight is a culmination of every fucking thing they've done the last 2 years. And it's a preview of what's going to happen next week probably and the week after that. Because this team ain't beating no Bengals. I'm probably not even going to watch that game. I'm going to be honest. If Lamar ain't starting, I ain't watching that. Because I'm not finna. For one, I don't like watching Tyler Huntley play. I watch this motherfucker because I'm a Ravens fan. I'm not watching them next week, bro, if he playing. I'm just telling you straight up. I'm not watching another Ravens game till we hit the playoffs. And I really don't want to watch us then. But I will. I'm not watching us get smacked by the Bengals next week, even though I don't even think the Bengals is that much better than us. But we don't got Lamar. Well, let me put it like this. They not better than us when we got Lamar. Because Lamar is just, the motherfucker's a Superman. Without him, this team, the Bengals will probably start slow. They like to do that. But they'll start scoring because the Ravens can't score. You think the Bengals looking at a team that put up 13 points and saying to themselves, oh, yeah, we're going to struggle putting up 13. Against the Ravens defense is just let Kenny Pickett do what he did to them? I doubt it. But how many times do the Ravens need to see this sorry-ass defense let mid-quarterbacks light their ass up? How many times do the Ravens organization need to see this defense give up leads in the fourth quarter? And I don't even just blame the Ravens defense tonight. The Ravens defense was trash in the fourth. The Ravens offense was trash in the second half. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't just blame them. I blame both of them. Now, what you're not going to get me to do is blame Lamar when he give you a 2-touchdown lead and your ass is still blowing. What you're not going to have me do is blame Lamar when he giving you 28-plus points and you're still blowing leads. That's what I'm not going to do. But Tyler Huntley gave you 13 points. I get it. Most NFL teams should be able to score more than 13 points. That's a lot to put on pressure to put on a defense. However, The Ravens defense choosing to just straight. For one, the Ravens defense didn't even play good. They got ran through tonight. They gave up almost damn near 200-something yards on the ground. Just got ran through. And I understand, they don't got Calais. They haven't got, I think, Pierce. They missing somebody else. I can't even remember my man's name anymore. I don't give a fuck. People keep telling me that this is a good team. People keep wanting to tell me the Ravens are a good team without Lamar Jackson. Even without Lamar Jackson, it's still a good team. No, it's not. I saw Mina Kimes. I like Mina Kimes. I think she's good at her job. Saying that Roquan Smith is the biggest reason the Ravens got to the playoffs is just fucking stupid. And I'm not calling her stupid. I'm saying that is a stupid take. Lamar Jackson is why this team got to the playoffs. Don't ever confuse that. All right? Because Lamar Jackson is far, even with Roquan on this team, even with Marlon Humphreys on this team, it ain't no play on this team nowhere near as good as Lamar Jackson at his job. How do I know? Well, Marlon Humphrey struggled to guard big receivers or good receivers. When Roquan Smith, as great as he is, he ain't the value that Lamar Jackson is. He ain't the player that Lamar Jackson is. But hey, if I'm the Ravens, let me keep building this team in spite of Lamar, not around Lamar. Because I know the media going to keep saying, oh, they built this team around Lamar. What is on this team that necessary you think would help Lamar? Because y'all been saying that for 3 years. And for 2 years, the offensive line been bad. If they built this team around Lamar, because y'all keep saying he run a lot, which he don't, y'all clearly don't watch him because Lamar Jackson is a pocket passer who can scramble. If they built this team around Lamar and y'all ignorant thoughts of he run a lot, why is this not a good run offensive line the past couple years? If they built it around Lamar. I'm curious. But anyways, I could do that all day. Back to this fucking Ravens. And I'm not talking about Green Bay in this video. I'll talk about them in the next video because I'm hammering the Ravens, bro. I'm sick of these motherfuckers. The fourth quarter letdowns. I'm not going to put that on Mike McDaniels. That was happening before him. When I tell you I'm not a fan of Mike McDaniels, it's simply because I just don't think he a good DC. I don't. The shit that he do against these bad teams don't fool me. This motherfucker could not put pressure on Kenny Pickett. At what time do you just make the decision? I might have to start sending some blitzes to get this motherfucker uncomfortable. Like at what point in time do you, like everybody want to shit on Wink because his blitzing scheme. I promise you Wink would not have said, and I keep telling you, I said it at the beginning of the season. One of the most irritating things the Ravens did in the offseason that made me realize the direction this team was going is when they fired Wink instead of firing Greg Roman. Greg Roman done been bad for multiple years, and he been hanging on because of Lamar. Wink entire defense was hurt last year, and he got fired for that. That makes no sense to me because Wink should still be. This is what I know. Wink Martindale ain't losing this game by letting Kenny Pickett stand back in that pocket making throws. That's what I know. He's sending home a house at least 3 times on that drive. Go look at Mike McDaniels through this game. Now you can say, oh, well, they just couldn't get to him. That's why you send a blitz, a smart blitz eventually when you realize, we ain't got no pass rushers that can get home. They keep talking about Odafe, who I continue to say wasted draft pick because I don't care about the pressures he put on a quarterback. The motherfucker got 2 sacks. 2 sacks. You do not call Odafe's name throughout the entirety of a game all year. I mean, I'm just saying. People keep telling me the Ravens trying, the Ravens doing this, they doing that. The Ravens have made a shit. I would almost say Eric DeCosta has not made a good move since he done been the GM. He has not made a winning move since he been here. The first winning move that I think Eric DeCosta made was bringing over Roquan Smith. And I don't even think that's a winning move because you should have got a receiver instead of Roquan. I understand how bad your defense is. Your defense still gave up a lead this game. Your defense still give up leads. I know what I can do with Lamar Jackson. I don't give a fuck about this defense. I'm watching Patrick Mahomes play with a bad defense the last 4 years. I need my quarterback to have weapons because he can affect the game more than my defense can. I don't want to keep going out there relying on this defense. I I got Patrick Queen running the middle of my damn field. You think I want to keep relying on that motherfucker to defend people? I like Chris Collinsworth. Chris Collinsworth said that Patrick Queen can defend running backs, tight ends, and receivers. No, the fuck he can't. Patrick Queen do one thing better than any player I ever seen, and that's defend air. He is great at defending air and then trying to make a play. Now, he missed a lot of tackles because when Patrick Queen try to actually go make a play, he probably going to run right past the play to be made or miss the tackle on the play to be made. That's just the reality. But that's who Baltimore went and took what they picked in the first round of that draft. Matt Elam, the receiver, Perryman. Just bad move after bad move for this team. DeAndre Hopkins is a player that they should be looking at to trade for in the offseason. Guarantee you he won't be a Raven. He'll end up on another team. It's a lot of receivers out there. Now, I'm not even going to say a lot, but it's game-changing receivers out there that the Ravens can go get. They don't. They go get defenders. In the offseason, they could have traded for DeAndre Hopkins. What did they do? They went out and signed Marcus Williams. The first move the Ravens made in the offseason was not to help their quarterback. It was to help the defense. What? I look at great quarterbacks on a weekly basis dictate what their defense does. If they play great, their defense will play good enough. If they play bad, their defense can rise to the occasion until they get it going. That is not the Ravens. This team is dictated on Lamar Jackson, period. If he play good, the defense don't play no better. He just give them a big enough lead so you hope they don't blow it. If he play bad, it's probably going to be an L. Even though Lamar still win games when he play bad. Threw 4 picks against Cleveland last year. Or 3, still won that game. With great plays down the stretch. But for some reason, Eric DeCosta, and I'm going to be honest with you at this point. Eric DeCosta is bad at his job. You're bad at your job, bro. It's no two ways around it. You cannot have a Lamar Jackson on your sideline, and this is the product that keep getting put out there on the field, bro. This is ridiculous. I watched the Raiders, knowing that they wasn't sold on Derek Carr, go out and get Devontae Adams. Knowing this could be his last year with them if he didn't play good. They still went out and got him. Because they understand what it means to have a quarterback who can rely on a receiver, or a receiver, what they can do for a quarterback. When you have a quarterback like a Derek Carr, who not Lamar Jackson, Pat Mahomes, Joe Burrow, or them other type of quarterback, Josh Allen's. So if the Raiders can go make the move like that, even when they know they might not bring back the quarterback, the Ravens, a team that know they want Lamar, won't go out and do that. Now, mind you, the Ravens don't want Lamar because people keep saying, oh, well, he could have had a contract. If you didn't give him the full guarantee that he asked for, then you don't want him. Because it's no way, if I'm Lamar Jackson, if you're a fan, how could you look at the Ravens and say, yeah, Lamar should take a pay cut with what they done put around him? That's insanity. And I keep telling you, stop using Mark Andrews as an escape route. For one, that's not enough. That's simple as that. 2, the motherfucker was drafted in the same draft as Lamar in like the 2nd or 3rd round. That's not going out and getting Lamar help. You didn't even think Lamar was going to be your starter at that point in time. That was going out getting Joe Flacco help, possibly. Because you didn't know Mark Andrews was going to turn into what he turned into. So I'm tired of giving Baltimore all the credit in the world for that. Sure, they drafted him. Sure, they possibly helped in his development. That was not their idea when they went out and got him to say, oh, this is a great weapon for Lamar Jackson. That wasn't their thoughts. Because if the Ravens really thought that, and I should have known this, because they didn't even draft Lamar with the first pick they had in that draft. They took Hayden Hurst. I should have known at that moment, even though they did have Flacco, who was a declining player at that time, missed the playoffs, the last 2-3 years at that time. I should have known, and he was starting to get hurt. I should have known when they drafted Lamar second behind the tight end. That should have been my sign right there. That they wasn't really about, making Lamar better. Because if they really wanted Lamar, they would have took him over Hayden Hurst. Just like the Chiefs went up and took Pat Mahomes, even though they had Alex Smith. I should have realized it at that point, but I didn't. But as soon as he won unanimous MVP, I realized what this Ravens team was doing to him after that. Because why Would my quarterback win unanimous MVP? He ain't got no weapon. And that's the biggest thing I can't understand for the life of me. Who is the Ravens paying for to not have went out and got Lamar a weapon? It just don't make sense to me. But you get games like this when Lamar don't play. You see how bad this offense is. I don't know if a receiver made a catch tonight. And if they did, it probably had to be, 2 or 3 catches? The Ravens got the worst receiving core in football. And it get worse on a weekly basis. And I kind of feel bad for Demarcus Robinson because I don't think Demarcus is as bad as this receiving core is. I just think it's hard to be a third receiver and outplay a receiving core this bad. Because I think Demarcus Robinson would be a great receiver, a slot receiver, or a great third option on a team that's got 2 great receivers already. Or at least a team that's got a number 1 receiver. He playing opposite of a James Prochet, Devin Duvernays and shit. What? But Lamar Jackson is my quarterback. And that's what I put around him. Never mind if the Ravens keep drafting receivers who ain't even 6 foot. James Prochet and Devin Duvernay are not even 6 foot receivers. The Ravens keep drafting them. Let's say you thought Lamar Jackson had an accuracy problem. How do drafting short receivers fix his accuracy problem? That's what I'm saying. The Ravens are not making moves in the best interest of Lamar Jackson. The Ravens are making moves in the best interest of Steve Bisciotti in his pockets. So he don't got to spend big money everywhere on the team. But winning a Super Bowl requires you spend money. And people say, oh, well, the Ravens don't want Super Bowl. They should know that. They won them 2 Super Bowls in a completely different era. And they will not be winning the Super Bowl. For one, the Ravens ain't winning no Super Bowl this year. So any Raven fan who think that, just get that shit out your head. 2, the Ravens won't be winning the Super Bowl in this decade for 2 reasons. They will not adjust to the NFL right now. They keep thinking, what team is allowed to keep the same philosophy that they done had their entire franchise every year until now? As if it'd be different if the Ravens had the same amount of Super Bowls as the Steelers or the Patriots or the Cowboys. Then I would understand them saying, no, we built this franchise on running and defense. Bro, you got 2 Super Bowls, bro. One of which was won because your offense was great that year. Yeah, your defense made a stop at the end of that Super Bowl, but they cut the lights off. That's why that game got close. The offense is why you won that Super Bowl. I cannot and then shit. Look at that year. Instead of regrouping, they just got satisfied with the Super Bowl and got rid of all the weapons Joe had. What kind of team that's trying to win does this type of shit? What team that's trying to win makes these type of dumbass moves? I'm so confused by this Ravens shit. I'm be honest with you, man. I done lost all hope for this franchise as far as doing anything to help Lamar Jackson, which is why I want him to leave. I don't believe the Ravens will go out next offseason to get him a real weapon. I don't believe they'll trade and get him a real weapon. I don't believe they'll try to go out and, if one hit the market and sign him. I think they'll sign a lot of cheap receivers. That's journeyman receivers. They'll sign some journeyman backups for running back and tight end. You want to know why people get excited for dudes like Isaiah Likely, a tight fucking end who can catch and run routes in Baltimore? Because they don't have a receiver. So when you get tight ends that immediately is better route runners, catchers, and all those other things in between than your receivers, then you got a problem. Lamar Jackson like to throw the ball deep. He ain't got not one deep threat on the team. Oh, they got Deshaun Jackson. Motherfucker was retired. Every single thing tells you that the Ravens are a bad franchise, and Lamar Jackson has been covering up for this team for the last 3 years. And now he did it again. He got him to the playoffs because of how he played before he got hurt. And now people going to get his team unnecessary credit instead of giving them the rightful vitriol and criticism that they deserve. This is a team that will not go out and do what's best for their quarterback. They continuously do what's best for them. This is a team that for some reason will not fire an offensive coordinator who will not adjust his offense. The man even it's so very clear Greg Roman's passing game just ain't it. and they continue to employ the man. I'm pretty sure you could still have a good run team with any other coordinator. For some reason, the Ravens specifically stick with the dude who is a one-dimensional play caller. Nobody see a problem with that? You got all these genius, air quotes, coordinators and coaches around the league, and the Ravens continue to settle for the one who can only run the ball, the one that Lamar Jackson had clearly outgrown. And here's my question, really, to end off this video. If the Ravens, Lamar Jackson, all the accomplishments he done had, if they won't build a team for him, who will they build a team for? If they won't go all out for Lamar, who will they go all out for? Teams pray for a quarterback like Lamar. If you're not willing to go all out for him to help him get you to a Super Bowl, a dude who done proven to you he can carry this team without help, why would anybody else want to come to the Ravens? Because that's where I'm at now. If I see how you treating Lamar, why would I want to come to your team? Because if you don't treat your quarterback right, like, let me give you an example. I done seen Cleveland go all out for Baker Mayfield. I saw Cleveland go all out for Deshaun Watson. Dallas continued to keep him insured with weapons. Went out and signed Ty Hilton to make sure. I see teams go all out for their quarterbacks every day, every year. Not the Ravens. You can't name one significant addition to this team since Lamar Jackson been here that's done help move this team in a forward positive direction offensively. You want to say J.K. You want to say J.K. Dobbins, but you know you can't because he been hurt and he really ain't done shit for Lamar. This greatness, this might be his greatest stretch of games right here. He ran for over 100 yards for the first time, and Lamar is not on the field. Look at how they played against the Steelers tonight. Look at the we don't want to lose type game plan they had. Look at the bad play calls. Greg Roman shouldn't be the coordinator of this team no more. Eric DeCosta shouldn't be the GM, but I know his ass ain't getting fired. And I'm going to tell you what's funny. I'm really about to end it right here. Before I end it, because I could keep going with this forever, bro. I literally could talk about this for 3 hours or longer. Before I go, Ozzie Newsome, I truly believe the reason he stepped down is because the fans was starting to get tired of him. It's not that we didn't love Ozzie and nothing like that, but we could clearly see his vision for building the team did not align with how great teams were starting to be built in the NFL. He would not go out and get receivers. Like, people think I'm only blaming DeCosta. Ozzie ass wasn't going out and getting receivers either. He was signing old receivers. Now, he did get Anquan Bolden, so I give him that. And I don't think Ozzie nowhere near has made moves as bad, even though Ozzie did draft some of them bad busts in the first round. Ozzie a legend. However, the end of Ozzie's tenure, if we being honest, he didn't just step down because he was tired of it. He stepped down because he was getting a lot of criticism for this team. Fans was really harping on it. And then DeCosta took over. And now you realize why Ozzie should have kept the job. Because DeCosta has done nothing, in my opinion, to make me believe this team gonna be any better under him. He just as cheap as Ozzie was. He just as cheap as the cheapest. The Ravens got the cheapest receiving core in football. But Lamar's supposed to go out. I'm telling you, I'm really about to end it. Every time I talk about this, the one thing that can continue to pop up in my head the last couple times is this motherfucker Mark Schlereth saying, I think receivers is built by quarterbacks, not the other way around. Bruh, I'm dead ass, bro. I want to sock Mark Schlereth in his face, dog. I don't talk like this. Well, I do talk like this in my everyday life because I do a lot of fight. But I done been through anger management and all that, so I don't even talk like this no more. But I really want to square up with this Mark Schlereth. I don't care how big you is, my boy. I'm always in the gym. I can get right back into my in great shape and square up with you, bro. I am a trained fighter, my boy. I can just go back to classes and start getting back into it. I want to fight Mark Schlereth, bro. And I'm going to tell you why. The ignorance that he spewed that day still bother me to this day. Because I don't know if it was racism, if it was just ignorance. But it was so, I'm just getting so tired of hearing these stupid ass takes on Lamar. And I keep saying I'm going to close it, but I'm really finna close it with this last point. Lamar, please leave this fucking team. I've been a Raven fan my whole life. Got them tattooed on my arm. They do not want what's best for you, my boy. You are a Super Bowl type of quarterback, dog. You can lead a team to a championship. You ain't doing it in Baltimore, bro, with a team that's this cheap. I understand the risk of betting on yourself and the franchise tags and no security. You know, I understand all that. But you still going to be Lamar Jackson in 3 years. Please force a trade, bruh. Do not waste 3 years with this Ravens team on franchise tags, bruh. Please force a trade. With minimum, they would only be able to franchise tag you this year. Because it ain't no way they finna drop 3 franchise tags on you, bro. It's no way. I say they'll drop a franchise tag this year, and that'll be the only one they drop. I do not think they finna go crazy with the franchise tags because that's going to cost them way too much money and handicap them from building a team, something that they don't do anyways. Please don't let the Ravens waste your career. I don't care how many Raven fans cheer for you. I don't care how many kids look up to you in Baltimore. I don't care about none of that shit. That is on the Ravens. They let them fans down. They let them kids down. I think it's very important to see black people to see black people be successful. I think it's even more important to see black people to see great, talented black people get the chance to be successful. Lamar Jackson is clearly a great player, a great quarterback, a franchise quarterback, a top 5 quarterback in this league, and has never had the top talent around him. Please, Lamar, if you ever get this message, please leave this fucking team. With that being said, I appreciate y'all for joining me on another episode of Kicking It with Saint. Tell somebody you fuck with them. Tell somebody you love them. Listen, you can be anything in the world. Be kind to somebody. Saint out.
Look, I'm through with this false persona. I can't do the Mr. Goody two-shoe shit any longer. Y'all check y'all hoes at the door while I'm putting it on her. Feel less responsible for my actions when I say I'm on the edge and these niggas just keep harassing. Killing people I love, man, this shit just a crime of passion. I know this isn't me, boy, stop asking me what didn't happen. I've been talking to my demons, y'all really thought I was capping. Now y'all scared cause you found that I'm really about all the action. Don't do the pretend shit, all of my problems for instance. Tugging the cheek over tension, nice that we can barely mention. I would say I moved on, but I know that shit hard to convince it. I sleep at ease when she pull up like a hardy convention. Never been harder to fit in. I know niggas, no pot to piss in. Needing assistance. Also, no niggas ran plays with pistons. Both hold wisdom. I sleep in silence, knowing everything good with the profit. I checked the summary last month, made 11 deposits. Everything is big up on the boy, feel like Christopher Wallace. Strong arm the game, who gon' stop him? That nigga too brolic. I've had enough of they twisted logic, that shit retarded. I question everything. I made the wrong choice between a paddock or a wedding ring. Hope you catching everything. They get goosebumps when I spit like when a net is seen.